Welcome to this week's Read the Bible Together session. And we are continuing in the book of Mark, the Gospel of Mark, which is good news. And chapter 12, verses 38 through 44, with a story about a widow and her offering. So it might be familiar, but always a good reminder to think about how we are using the gifts that God has provided for us and sharing those with those in need and with those around us that might need some of our gifts, both financial and our talents and our time as well. But this widow offering story is, of course, about her coins. So, from the Spark Story Bible, the widow's offering, another story from Jesus. So Jesus sat down outside a temple and taught the disciples about how to share. Do you see that rich man in the fancy robes? Jesus asked the disciples, and they looked around and they saw him. He twirled his robes when he saw that they were watching him. I must be very special, thought the rich man. The man in fancy robes stopped in front of the money box outside the temple. He slowly reached in to his money purse and pulled out several coins. And one by one, he held them up to the sun so that they flashed for all to see. And there you can see Jesus and the disciples, and then the rich man over here with his coins glistening in the sun. "It is time for me to give to the poor," he said loudly. The coins made a loud clang as he dropped them into the money box. Now Jesus asked the disciples another question. "Do you see that poor old widow?" Jesus whispered the question because he didn't want to scare her. She looked this way and that. She tried to hide in the crowd, and she bent over the money box. Clink, clink. Her two tiny coins barely made a sound as she dropped them in. And the old woman reached her hand into her pocket, and it was empty. Quietly, the poor woman shuffled away. "Did you notice?" asked Jesus. "The man in the fancy robes gave just a little of his riches and showed off a lot. The widow gave the only two coins she had and kept quiet about it. She shared everything. She is one who gave the most. And this is how I want you to share." And you can see her shyly putting in her coins into the money box. So this week, think about, what is it that you have to offer? How much has God given you, both financially and through time and talent? And how are you giving that back into the world?